Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee. At the molecular level, good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am you-know-who. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Nice.
My God, that is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
Trader Joe's Joe in a French press. A nice, reliable coffee. Shocking new study finds catastrophic neurological and psychiatric damage from COVID vaccines. Duh. Imagine that, the already deranged becoming more mentally ill on purpose and proud of it, and they want you to do the same. Remember that circle jerk that I told you about 5 years ago? Half you didn't believe me, you rolled up your fucking sleeves. For those of you that are in business, remember this, or want to start a business. If you're fans of the Fire Your Boss podcast or even conversionchemistry.com, when business is slow, the untrained business mind lowers prices. Discounting and lowering your prices also lowers your reputation. If you live by price, you will also die by price. Instead, add a service or add a premium and only give discounts to new customers to get them in the door. Remember, there's always those around who will beat your price, but they can never match your service. Never compete on price, compete on service. I remember there was a barber shop in Florida where my parents live. $5 haircuts. $5 haircuts. Amazing. It's in a mall. $5 haircuts. Across the street from the mall. Now, these were the lowest haircut prices I've ever seen. Across the street from the mall, there was a place that had $3 haircuts. Oh yeah, we'll show you. What's next? $1 haircuts? Free haircuts? It's like a race to the bottom. Compete on service, never compete on price. And I would say purchase based upon service and quality as opposed to price. You know, there's the phrase, buy once, cry once. When it comes to purchasing good quality tools, clothing, cookware, you buy once. It's painful the first time because it's a little bit more expensive, but it lasts longer or may even last your lifetime. Things used to last a long time. They don't last anymore, do they? Nothing's enduring anymore. When was the last time, like for instance, I have a fedora. It's a tweed fedora that's 75 years old. I have a beaver felt winter coat from my grandfather. It's gotta be at least 75 to 90 years old. The stitching is perfect. The buttons are not coming off. I mean, I could wear it every day. It's that nice. Like if I'm wearing like a shirt and tie or going to a wedding or a funeral or a business meeting or something, that I could wear this winter coat. It's that nice. Now, let me ask you this. Are there any hats that you currently own or winter jackets that your grandchildren or great-grandchildren will be wearing 75, 80, 90 years from now? Probably not. The quality isn't there. There was a time when things were made to last instead of being disposable. And of course, with the Temu culture, the Alibaba culture, the Shine culture of just cheap everything taking over, there's a whole new generation of people that don't even know what quality is. I like to say when you buy quality, you're basically just becoming a steward of that item. Like when it comes to tobacco pipes, of course, I'm going to use that as an example. You never really own your pipe. You are a steward of it. It will outlive you. When you think about the things around your home, will your children or grandchildren be fighting for that item you just got from Temu? Probably not. I still have like a shirt, a plaid shirt from LL Bean, minimum 35 years old. Minimum. Stitching is perfect. Buttons are perfect. color is still vibrant. It was expensive back then. You know, we're talking like 35 years ago. This shirt was like $35 or $40 back then. That was a lot back then. It's not as much now. But that thing is beautiful. It's beautiful. I could wear it with a pair of khakis and it looks magnificent. You've actually seen me wear it before. And I was hesitant to buy it. How many shirts have I bought on sale or online or on clearance racks that I still, years ago that I still have today? Zero. Zero. Buy once, cry once. Anyone here into the URS? URS. I believe his name is Andrei Ursu, a Romanian. I was going to say pop singer, but using the phrase pop singer probably would be insulting the guy. Insanely talented. He's on my playlist. It's one of the songs that I have when I go to the gym. Out of this world. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of these songs, but if you are on YouTube, look up the URS, URS. I guess that's how you say it. I know my Romanian brothers will correct me, my pronunciation, and I welcome that. But, it's funny, when I find something, I act as if it's brand new, and I discovered it when actually he's one of the top stars in Romania. But Eastern Euro music, it's miles ahead of anything in the Western world. Miles ahead. And if you know, you know. I do have. Does anyone want to trade up for anything? I've got a bunch of DVDs. Hold on here, sealed in the box. And let's see, Leprechaun, the original movie, Leprechaun. No, Leprechaun Returns, sealed in the box. Walking Dead, the complete 10th season, sealed in the box. DVDs. Fear the Walking Dead, the complete seasons, sealed in a box. And last one is a sealed DVD double movie, The Dark Crystal, phenomenal film, and Labyrinth with David Bowie. Now, what do you have that you want to trade for these or one of these? I'm looking at trading up. What do you have that you want to trade up? Someone out there wants these in their collection. What do you want? Which one do you want? And what do you have that you want to trade up? Let me know. Put it in the comment section, or you can actually email me. And we'll figure it out. It's kind of a fun thing to do. It's a way for me to interact with my audience. I love trading. Love trading. Take a look at this little corner, this little nook. Books on a shelf, comfortable chair, reading lamp, cup of tea or coffee on the little side table, Persian rug on the floor. I don't know, when I look at like reading nooks, like this is a cozy nook here where I'm at right now. This is in my kitchen. But like I also have a reading room where I go down 6 steps and there's a wall of books, 2 sofas, a couple lamps, a wall of windows, and that's where the TV is as well. And I do more reading there than watching TV. But when I see pictures of like little reading rooms or little reading nooks, I kind of get excited. I don't know why. I just look at it and I imagine myself just reading my favorite book there. And I've been posting pictures of little reading nooks. Do you have a reading nook in your house? A reading corner that's just dedicated to reading with a lamp? You know, one of the things, my mother has a floor lamp with a multi-spectrum light, and it's on a bendable arm, and you can put it kind of like right over your book, so you're not Your eyes aren't fighting the light, it's only illuminating what you are reading. And I saw one at a Goodwill thrift store a couple months ago. They're very expensive lights. It looks like four fluorescent tubes, but they are it's one unit. It's like four tubes that are about maybe 5 inches long as one unit, and it kind of plugs into the light. And I've seen tabletop versions. I've seen floor lamp versions, and it is the most comfortable reading light. I don't know what they call it. Is it multi-spectrum or something like that? Better than any lamp. Literally, you could read for hours. It's incredible. I saw it at Goodwill for $5. Very same one that my mother has at her home. I'm like, shit. Uh, I look back on, like, I should have snapped that up. I'm sure it didn't last a day at the Goodwill. But if I see another one, I'm going to scoop it up. It is, I get excited about reading lamps. When you want to read more, get a good chair, get a good lamp, create a little reading nook, and you will read more. When you create the environment for reading, you will read more. Excuse me a second. You know what? I gotta clean these glasses off. Fingerprints on my glasses are just driving me nuts. How's everybody doing? You doing all right? How about those live broadcasts that I did this week? They were pretty funny, weren't they? All right, there we go. Those early morning live broadcasts kind of crack me up. So, what's this guy's name? Wes Watson arrested on felony assault charges. Gee, that's a surprise. I I, I have an opinion about him. I don't want to say I wish him the best. I don't wish him anything. He was an asshole with me. But God, no one saw that coming. Him getting arrested for violence. Jeez. Too bad you can't get arrested for bullshitting. He'd be on death row. I remember when Jim Rohn said, "Don't ask for it to be easier, ask for you to be better. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune." Once I figured that out, everything changed. Gosh, I probably heard that back in like 1985. Love that. You guys like Jim Rohn? Rohn. Teresa Greenway, a divorced wife. She was a housewife, didn't have any quote unquote marketable skills, according to her. When her marriage broke up, she thought to herself, I can't do anything. What am I going to do? I've been a housewife. And her friend said, what do you mean you can't do anything? What are you talking about? You have no skills. She was great at baking, and she was really good at making sourdough bread recipes. She gets on, I think it's called Udemy, Udemy, udemy.com, which is like an educational platform. She makes $80,000 a year. This is 8 years ago. $80,000 a year from bread baking courses. This is a woman who said, I can't do anything. I have no skills. That always made me laugh. Fox News watchers think that they upgraded when they switched over to Newsmax, which is actually a bigger propaganda channel. Any conservative news watchers here? I stopped watching the news probably in 2015, and just have a few news sources on the internet that are reliable and have proven to be more truthful than anything you see on TV or any conservative talk show. Remember when like your favorite conservative radio talk show hosts like were really big? Remember when that was like a big thing? You get in a car, you put on conservative talk radio. What a joke. Let me ask you this question. What is conservative about conservative talk radio? I have no idea. haven't found one single thing that's conservative at all, or Christian in any form or fashion. Netanyahu gives Trump a pager in memory of Israel's operation against the Lebanese Hezbollah movement, which is the weirdest fucking gift I've ever heard. I mean, just the U.S. president responded by saying it was a grand operation, the Israeli prime minister's office reported. You can't make that shit up. Would you accept a pager or a cell phone? Imagine answering that call.
Wake the fuck up.
Pretty interesting. I haven't experienced a lot of deaths in my lifetime. I guess I'm fortunate in that way. And I definitely feel for those who've been through it. I have one friend who, in a very short period of time, lost her brother, father, mother, and husband. And then 10 years later, her female best friends died from various causes within a couple years. How about your experience? The only death, I remember going to funerals of aunts, uncles, my grandparents that I loved dearly. Big part of my life. That was, death is weird. Death is a weird thing, what it does to you. You know, makes you very introspective. This month, all right, today's February 7th, on February 25th, I think it's 4 years now that my best friend killed himself, which I never had anyone in my life kill themselves. And that was like some of my audience here were like, will you stop talking about Craig? Right here. I will never stop talking about Craig and the despair that he must have felt when he took a gun and put it to his heart and pulled the trigger. It just blows my mind. I will never stop talking about Craig. I will never stop talking about Craig. And the plight of men who suffer silently. It hit home so fucking hard. I was in disbelief when I got the call. And then when I went to the funeral, he looked so friggin' normal. He was laying in the casket like he was sleeping. Like literally. Craig had a great head of hair. Good smile, good guy. He's the kind of guy you want as a neighbor. Always funny. Just a pleasure to be with. The sense of humor was phenomenal. And when he took his life, and then there was the funeral, I was waiting for him to like sit up in the casket and go, gotcha. But of course he didn't. He's been gone now for, at the end of this month, it'll be 4 years. And there's a bunch of friends in a small circle of college friends that we all still stay in touch. At around the 25th of this month, we're going to be sending texts of pictures that we had with Craig many years ago. He was the guy that he would meet me out and about like twice a week. We were huge live music fans. As you know, I'm a massive live music fan. I'd rather watch a band live than listen to a band, on headphones or in the car, whatever. I love live music. And Craig was like that. And he would hear of a good band playing. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. What time? And we'd go and we'd have cheesesteaks and a couple beers and have a good time and, still leave early. We weren't like the late night guys. We were always out of there by 10 or 11. We'd catch like the first set or two that a band was playing and did that forever. I was friends with him for over 40 years. I met him in college. He had the dorm room next to me. And I knew when I first met him, like his sense of humor, he had like a real dry, deadpan sense of humor. And there were times where I didn't even know he was joking when he would say something. And then I'd see like this sparkle in his eye. And I knew he was joking. And I just loved his sense of humor. Like he would do stuff like whenever he would play with somebody, like he's talking to some people, we'd be out and about. And when he would say yes, he would shake his head no. Like someone would say, oh, do you like Memphis style ribs? He'd say yes. Or the opposite, he'd say no and go like that. And I'd be cracking up. And I'm thinking, I know exactly what he's doing because it's so incongruent. It was really, and he was the master of yanking your chain, man. He was the master of just pranking you. And And then he was such a good sport when like the prank was revealed. He was just that kind of guy. Man, I had so many laughs with him for decades, decades. And his loss was amazing for me. I just never experienced anything like that in my life. Never. Have you? I love this line from George Carlin: never underestimate the power of stupid people in a large group. Boy, we experienced that with the whole derangement of everything. People, there are some people that call it Trump derangement syndrome. I think it's just like a derangement in general. There's like a mass psychosis happening in the Western world. I think it's all over the world, but especially in the Western world. And this reboot of Trump, this is not the same Trump that I voted for way back in 2016. It's not the same Trump. And I'm not a fan like I was. Not a fan like I was. I don't like some of the recent moves. And this time around, I think he's showing who his true masters are. I don't think he's his own man. I know there's a lot of people that are saying that I'm jumping the gun on this one. I don't think so. I uh, I believe what my eyes see and my ears hear. I'm not into like secret interpretations. Well, he's making this move. It's 5D chess. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's making it very clear who he serves. And I'm not interested in that. That's not the Trump I voted for. So he doesn't have my support. I'm not going to be actively just bitching about Trump for the next 4 years. That's not going to be happening either. I'm not one of those guys. But he doesn't have my active support, nor does his cabinet have my support. Not interested in his cabinet. Something is off, I think. Do you think that? Or are you one of those, trust the plan, he knows what he's doing? All right, whatever, man. A good straight back wooden rocker with minimal padding and a little side table and a directional reading lamp is amazing. The squishy, overstuffed recliners, those days are over with for me. They sound great in theory, but they're horrible for reading posture. Do you ever like sit in a recliner? I had a recliner when I was married. Watch TV, sit in your recliner, and you push it back, your legs go up, whatever. And the reality is that they are horrible for your spine, horrible for your hips, horrible for your posture. And they are comfortable. I will tell you, man. I mean, when the kids were little, I'm talking like when they were infants, like when they were brought home. I remember holding my youngest son as a newborn, holding him, and then just kind of like reclining back. And there's a picture of him. He fell asleep on my chest, and I'm either sleeping myself or watching TV. I forget, but there's a photo of that, an actual picture, not digital. It's actually a photograph. And very, very comfortable. And they were good. I guess it's good if you have little babies, that kind of thing. They're very comfortable. They can also be very dangerous. Recliners can be dangerous. How I still have any fingers left, like as a kid crawling underneath the recliner as my dad was sitting in a recliner. And when that footrest thing that comes up on a recliner, like when you put it back to the upright position, and the chair goes up and the footrest kind of folds back down. How that thing, you ever see like the mechanics behind that footrest when it comes up? It just looks like two giant pairs of scissors on each side of it. How I still have fingers, I will never know. You ever go on Instagram and you see women like my age and older dancing? Like, what the hell? Like, number one, Instagram, why the hell are you recommending that shit to me? Number two, bro, it never ends. Women 60, 65, 70, dancing, boobs bouncing. The attention seeking never friggin' ends. Women's main currency is attention. Most women, not all, is attention. You want to pay a woman? Give her some attention. She ain't going to pay her bills with it, but she doesn't care. If a modern stay-at-home wife cooks dinner for her husband, cleans the house, or mends his clothing without saying something about it on Twitter, did it really happen? This whole trad wife movement. Look, I made a roast beef. I'm wearing an apron. I'm baking a cake. Oh, will you shut the fuck up? Seriously. Shut up. You know, my mother had dinner on the damn table for decades. We didn't throw clothes out if they got a hole or a tear or a seam was ripping. She sewed it. She mended it. My mother actually mended socks. If you had a sock that had a hole in it, she would actually sew up the hole in the sock. Here's to centuries of moms who did their duty as a wife and a mother, the thankless duty without expecting any attention or reward. Here's to you moms out there. Again, here's my monthly reminder to question everything and don't give a damn who gets offended. It doesn't matter how soon or untimely things are. The bad guys always win when you say nothing. Keep that in mind. Like questioning the plane crashes that happened recently. Someone said, you're being very insensitive. I don't give a flying fork. I don't care. The bad guys always win when you question nothing. That's why I say question everything. You've heard me say this before, date long, marry slow, and if you already decided as a couple to be divorced, do it fast. Don't drag it out. Divorces that are dragged out literally do a lot of damage to both people, especially men. Costs more money than you can imagine. All the equity in your marital home will disappear, and the only people who actually profit from divorces. Think about your wife who's not happy. I'm not happy. Shut the fuck up, will you please? Shut up. Seriously, shut the fuck up, you destroyer. Shut up. I'm not happy. I want a divorce. All right. So what happens is you have to sell the house. You have to sell the house and then split the equity. And half of that goes to the attorneys. The only people who win in divorces are the attorneys. But I will say this, date long, marry slow, and divorce fast. Most of the trauma, chaos, and bullshit that a man goes through, not that I don't give a shit about what women go through, but this is a channel for men. Most of the stuff that men go through happens, the trauma and the chaos happens during that divorce process. To the divorced and or widowed, and I know this is one that's going to stir up some trouble, stay single and develop clarity. Any arrangement that looks like a relationship will cloud your purpose, and it always has an expiration date on it that you refuse to see, but everyone else can see it. It's nothing but an entanglement. If you get involved with somebody, if you are widowed or divorced, if you get involved with somebody quickly, it's an entanglement, not a relationship. And if you're honest, intellectually honest, you'll agree with me on that one. Get to know yourself. If you want action and adventure, go to where the action and adventure is. You don't need to invite it into your front door. You don't have to give up dating, friends, or companionship. You know, all that keeps you socially balanced. Be comfortable with your own company. Hence what I do that I call table for one. All right, it's Friday now. It's Friday morning right now. Friday, late this afternoon, I will go to a Mexican restaurant. I think the most I've ever spent there was like $13, something like that. And my average spending at this place is about $10, and then I leave a nice, generous tip. But I go and have a good time. I bring like a sci-fi or a horror book with me, or a comic book, or an anthology, or a graphic novel. And I have my Mexican food that is always tasty, made to order, very fresh. And I call it table for one. Do you ever go to a restaurant and they go, how many? And you're like, one. And they don't know what to do with you. Learn how to cultivate a table for one lifestyle. You won't regret it. Get to know yourself. Only entertain assets, not liabilities in your lifetime. Entertaining anyone who is a liability, it's the seed of a trouble tree that will eventually bear fruit, bad, negative fruit. Learn to trust yourself by yourself and monitor your addiction to disappointment. I love that meme with Dr. Evil. And he says, from now on, money laundering will be called foreign aid. I'll take it one step further. I call it reparations for something that you had nothing to fucking do with. This was interesting. A guy at my part-time job says, I killed 7 people. I'm doing life. I already did 22 years and I'm not afraid to kill again. Heard a guy say that. One of the guards says, we just let him talk. I asked why, because, those are pretty threatening words. I got nothing to lose. I'm not afraid to kill again. The guard said this, the wisdom of a guy that has worked as a correctional officer for a long time. This was amazing. He says, as long as he's just talking, he's not hurting or killing anyone. How damn brilliant is that? Seriously. Another guy said, it's the quiet ones you have to worry about, not the ones that are just blabbering all day and making threats. As long as he's just talking, he's not hurting or killing anyone. That's amazing. Oklahoma proposal would make watching porn a felony, ban sexting outside marriage. Someone asked, should watching porn become a felony? I don't think so. I'm not pro-porn in any way, but you cannot legislate morality. That is an individual issue. Porn will never get banned. It'll it started out underground. Now it's out in the open. Who cares? Like everything is like porn now. Everything. It's crazy. American guys go to Thailand to get lucky with Thai women. American women go to Thailand to get unlucky with expat loser American guys who will fuck them while they're looking for a submissive Thai woman. American women are some of the most bored, self-delusional, self-destructive beings I've ever seen, ever. Self-induced FOMO, fear of missing out, and then they're always unfulfilled, always, I'm not happy, I'm bored, I need a change. And then they come back to the United States to continue their depressive life. I've lost track of how many times I've seen this. Even like the women who do like van life, the nomad life. Oh, just delusional, unfulfilled, depressive, disgusting. Think about that too. All right. Van life. Put a black light in any of those vans of those people that are doing van life or the nomad life. It looked like a damn crime scene. Come on. Jessica on Twitter says, men who don't wear jackets in cold weather do so with the express intent of intimidating women and to make women feel like lesser beings. What? If you see a man who's not wearing a jacket when you're cold, then call him out on his toxic masculinity and ego violence. Okay. Asteroid, come quickly, please. Especially over Jessica's house. Like, there's people who believe that stuff? Are you kidding me? Are you cheating on your wife and the marriage is over and there's no chance of reconciliation? Let me ask you that. Are you cheating on your wife and there's no chance of reconciliation? I'm all about save the man, not the marriage, but this is taking it a step further. No judgment here. No judgment. I even have coaching clients that are surprised that I don't judge them when they tell me some things. Do you want to get out of that marriage or relationship, minimize collateral damage to family, friends, your job? There's only 2 ways to do it. There's the hard way, and then there's the really fucking hard way. There's no easy way to do it. Private message me. I do coaching for men who want out. I can help you start the process of leaving her. And I'm not saying you have to do it in a compassionate way, because I think you need to have compassion on yourself first. Then, it's kind of like put the oxygen mask on yourself first. But if you're in a shitty marriage, that's beyond help. I know there's Christian people out there that will say, no bad marriage is beyond help. I know that's right, because let's wave that magic Jesus wand over everything. That just makes everything better. Remember, mommy, kiss my boo-boo to make it better. This is just like the Christian version. Jesus, kiss my boo-boo and make it better. There's some things that Jesus can't heal and won't heal, especially if you played a role in destroying it. No condemnation, no judgment. But waving the magic Jesus wand over everything doesn't fix everything. Sorry. So if you want out of that marriage or relationship and are tired of living a double life, I can help you with that over a period of a few months. Private message me. Hold a door for a woman, and you're a gentleman. Hold a revolving door for a woman, and you're arrested. I give blood every couple months, and there's like 40 questions that they ask you to make sure that you're okay, that your blood is okay, this kind of stuff. Have you been out of the country? Have you gotten tattoos in the past 2 months? Have you had sex with a prostitute? Or just questions that no one would ever ask you in a million years. But there's one question that says, have you paid for sex in the past 3 months? It was interesting. And this happens almost every time. The woman sitting across the table from me asking me these questions, she says, have you paid for sex in the past 3 months? And then I kind of start smirking, and then she starts smirking. And I said, what are you laughing at? She goes, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, what's that? And I don't know why. This happens with every single nurse or phlebotomist or whatever the hell they are at the blood donation, the blood drives. She says, you're going to say all men pay for sex. The amount of women who are now saying that to me is amazing. They can't even ask the question, have you paid for sex in the past 3 months, without a smirk or a smile or a laugh. It's it's funny when women know that we are onto them, because all men pay. Even your daddy, even your granddaddy paid for it. My grandfather never visited a prostitute. I didn't say that your granddaddy visited a prostitute. I said he paid for sex. A lot of different ways to pay. So there's an interesting nicotine pouch alternative called Pixatine. Nicotine infused toothpicks. That's pretty interesting, right? When I first saw that, I thought to myself, why didn't I think of this? Here's a lesson. Sometimes it's about creating an alternative delivery system of whatever that thing is. It's not about the thing, it's about the delivery system of that thing. So this is not about nicotine, it's about how that nicotine is delivered to your system. You can have a little pouch and stick it up between your cheek and gum, or you can just put a nicotine toothpick in your mouth. It's about the delivery system. In 2018, 2019, I had this crazy idea that I want to be married again. Imagine that, almost 20 years after being divorced. Here I am, the best version of myself, the best place I've ever been in my life. Bottom line, women are the ones who just want to fuck around and play. It's not the men, it's the women who don't want to be married. And I wasn't complaining about it at first. But corporate public Christianity as we know it in America is tone deaf, irrelevant, and has zero answers. I stopped listening to all leaders, Orthodox, Catholic, Protestant. It's as if they are seeing something that doesn't exist in society anymore. The bigger the beard or clerical collar, the less I listen. The red pill lens has made more sense to me than any church that I know of. So this is what I would suggest for you men. Learn how to be content and stop thinking you're going to find some pearl of great price. If you're an older guy, look at you raised your kids. They're doing well. Now just enjoy life and start a foundation rather than dreaming of finding someone who will complete you. She doesn't exist. Bro, friend zone yourself. You know, GFY, yourself, has a new meaning. Go friend zone yourself. You'll be happier, believe me. Men, here's the rules for women. Number 1, don't get fat. Number 2, never deny me intimacy. I didn't say never deny me sex. I said never deny me intimacy. I don't want to work for it. I don't want to do chore play. I don't want you withholding it to score points or make a point. And number 3, don't embarrass me in public. And I'm not saying me personally. I'm just saying men in general. This is how you should think. Don't do that and we're good. That's how you should think. But never repeat more than once. One strike and you're out. Withhold intimacy from me or from a man, and there's got to be consequences. There's way too many fish in the sea who are reasonable, agreeable, fun, and want to actually be part of your life. You don't need a woman who's always rejecting you. You don't need a woman who is, I'll show you, I'll put on 20 pounds. You don't need a woman who's shutting you out of intimacy. Remember, I didn't say sex. I said intimacy. And there's way too many women just schooling their men in public. What is that all about? And these guys just being like beat down little dog shelter dogs. It never fails to blow my mind. The Philly plane crash is absolute conspiracy theorist gold. It's the third good conspiracy theory of the year. As a matter of fact, my first conspiracy theory was about the woman who had sex with 100 guys. I'm writing all the conspiracy theories in this book. Bought a notebook, 80 cents. It's the 2025 Conspiracy Theory, False Flag, and PSYOP book. And I'm writing everyone down, date and time stamped, and just going to have some fun with it this year. I can spot that shit a mile away. Can you? Oh, this is so wrong. This guy says, one day you'll kiss your bride in front of her 6 exes, 3 besties who hit it, the one-night stand guy who only bought her a cider, an old dude who she will introduce to you as her uncle, another guy that she will say is like a brother to her. They will all eat your food recklessly like they did your wife. Oh my God, that is so wrong, but true. I used to call people and say, hey, let's go out for a drink. And now that I don't drink, I don't have much of a reason to call people to go out. You know, it's harder to ask somebody to go out and meet for coffee than it is to ask people out for a drink. Try asking a woman out for a drink. Man, she's there. She is there. Ask her out for coffee in the morning, and she's got to think about like doing her hair, her makeup, how she's going to look. I start out slow in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Yeah. Again, let's go back to that whole genuine desire thing. If, you know what, if she's really into you, she will roll out of the sack and be at the diner in 5 minutes, regardless of how she looks. Why do men love telling women how beautiful they are when they also know that attention is what a woman wants the most? My favorite new channel on Instagram, you're going to think this is crazy, is by Ludmilla Puchko. Ludmilla, Ludmilla, Puchko, Puchko. You will forget all the bullshit of your day just by watching any of the videos on Ludmilla Puchko's Instagram channel. The first time you look at it, you're going to be like, what the hell did Bruno refer me to? And then you're going to see people just enjoying their life, and you're going to kind of like live vicariously through these people. Just go to the channel and see. You'll see what I mean. Are you feeling a little under the weather? I will tell you, this is amazing. Last week, I took a 4-hour nap. When was the last time you took a 4-hour nap? Like, I come home, if I'm out at work, at one of my little gigs. I love laying down for about 10, 15 minutes and just closing my eyes. Wake up 10, 15 minutes later just to rest my eyes. I'm not talking about taking a long nap kind of thing. But last week I laid down for my little 10-minute just want to close my eyes session, and I woke up 4 hours later. I've never done that before. Think about this. I laid down at 1 o'clock in the afternoon just to close my eyes because I had been up since about 3:30 working the whole time. I woke up at 5 o'clock, 4 hours later. How did that happen? I was wearing a light blocking eye mask. Those black eye masks that go over your eyes. Holy cow. It is amazing that when you block all of the light out of your eyes, your body starts going to sleep. It shuts itself down. You want to get a great nap? Put on an eye mask. You want to get a great night's sleep? Did you know your eyes can even sense an LED light from a watch or a clock or a phone charger or a modem or something that you have in your bedroom? Or let's say you have like a little power strip, with a bunch of things plugged in it and like that little red light that's on. That can actually keep you awake. Your brain can sense that even through your eyelids. When you put on a light blocking eye mask, your sleep will literally be 10 times better than it already is. I don't even know how I slept all these years. Was I compromising my sleep? And I woke up feeling so refreshed. Literally, I was so refreshed when I woke up. It was amazing. But an eye mask is now part of my daily routine. I get 70 to 100 messages a day from men from around the world, and this one stood out to me this week. My work never ends as a men's coach. Fellow from Sweden says, "Hi, George, I don't know if you're going to read this. I could really use some wise words from you. My girlfriend was found murdered this Thursday. We were expecting a child together, and she was pregnant and in her 16th week. How can I move on from something like this? Am I allowed to cry? Am I supposed to forget everything? I feel really bad, but I'm still holding on to life. I would appreciate it if you gave me a short call or just a message to make me feel better. Please, kind regards from Sweden." Where do you even begin to deal with a guy that has dealt with that? Where do you even begin? And my brother, if you are watching this, shoot me an email. Tell me your story, and we'll arrange a Zoom call. Did you ever notice this? When a man dumps a woman, he'll be asked to reply to meetings, calls, and emails so she can get clarity and feel better. If a man asks for clarity, he's a needy creep, and he needs to stop stalking her. Double standard much? In 9 years of podcasting and almost 40 years of doing radio, TV, live in studio, onstage media, when people message me the most in the past 9 years, the most frequent messages have said things like, "You, Rich, and Rollo have made the most impact in my life." Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if Rollo would ever acknowledge that. Personally, I don't know. I don't know if he has it inside of him to listen to me when I say that the most frequent message that I get from other men is, "You, Rich, and Rollo have helped me the most." Pretty interesting, right? And I believe they both have great things to say. Why do people write me like that? Because our messages are some of the most consistent, actionable messages for men. There's rewards for staying the course and not jumping in on the next big or trendy thing. Here's a fellow. He says, "Hi, George. I'm a fan from Italy. I follow you for some years now. I love the Daybreak Show. Just wanted to thank you for what you are doing. You inspired me to be better, and your videos help me stay to the course if I fall back. I especially love the last couple of episodes of your show. Sane, timeless advice for men that no one will tell you It's all amazing. Keep up the good work. I think lots of people follow you without making contact, but you are making a dent in the universe, to paraphrase Rich Cooper again. Thank you very much for what you do for men. You are welcome, sir. I appreciate that. And I will pass that on to Rich as well. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you on the next Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.